Before we talk about and learn together a few minutes, Parshas Terumah, I wanted to express Rabbi Yehuda. It's interesting, Yehuda made an appeal. Rav Ezi and I were excited. Yehuda 1 week made an appeal for Shnai Mikveh Targum. And I liked it a lot. It was like, you're right, and it's an Indian, and people should learn the Parsha. I could even talk about that in a few minutes. I'm going to go right there, because I wanted to make a different appeal, but I want to express with Yehuda Tzvi. I'll come from the following word. In last week's Parshas Mishpatim, so when Moshe and Aaron, Nadav Avihu, and the Shivim Zikanim saw Hashem b'shas Kabbalah Satira, Hashem had a livnas hasapir, had a sapphire brick in front of him, b'shas the Shibud Mitzrayim. Now, yet they were looking at Hashem b'shas Kabbalah Satira, but they saw Hashem that b'shas Yitzias Mitzrayim, he had a sapphire brick in front of him. Now, if you're wondering, how did they see that? There's no time in Shemayim. I just like saying that fact. But there's no time in Shemayim. And of course, when you see, there's no yesterday, by Hashem, everything's eternal. So it could get people a little overwhelmed, but if you see Hashem, they saw Hashem, so they could see what was. So when they saw Hashem, they saw during Yitzias Mitzrayim, during Shibud Mitzrayim, he had a livnas hasapi in front of Hashem. Time is for us. Time is in our world. In Shemayim, there's what? Yes. He's right. But I like start times. My father is in front of me, and I'm working hard and being more in time. End times, I'm not masking. There's no such thing. By davening, I don't want any minute. I like our minyan change. There's no more. I sometimes speak 5 minutes, sometimes an hour. There's no end. What does it mean in end time? Let's do the thing. If we're tired, we'll go short. Maybe we should do a few more Mishabers that week. Maybe the end time thing gets, I can't. A start time, I hear, we all have to know. But when you do something, do the thing. I appreciate Rabbi Shapiro Shir. I see my cats also. There's no end time. There's no time. I see 1/3 now. I get it. The guys leave, walk out, beseder. I just mean like we're doing something, so let's do the thing, and we're in the middle of. Let's get lost in the thing. At start time, we all need to meet somewhere. I tell my kids because when we have Ma'ariv in the shul, so I run out of Shalosh Shudas for Ma'ariv. So I tell my kids, for me, this is my parnasa. I have a job. I have to run to make Ma'ariv. I said, in your own homes, you finish Shalosh Shudas. You go la'alacha. You're middle of Shalosh Shudas. You're schmoozing with the family, you're singing Zmiris, Shalosh Shudas goes. At the end of the minyan, you'll find. I remember at Eretz Yisrael, I'd go to Vishnitz, and usually we'd collect the minyan late, your middle, Shalosh Shudas. You don't end Shalosh Shudas. It has a start time, an end time for Shalosh. That's wild to have an end time. Maybe Tuesday you'll end Shalosh. I beg my kids, I tell them, if you have a job, you have a Gnei B'Shayla. If not, you're doing Shalosh Shudas, you do Shalosh Shudas. At the end of Shalosh Shudas, Savadi, you'll get a group of Yidden for a minyan. Say there, Zicher. Rabbi's wait. We have to have, okay. I'm not talking 72, I'm talking 172, 272. But the kitzur, how do we go to this time thing? But the kitzur is that b'shas Kabbalah Satira. We're back on schedule, back on time. So kitzur, during Kabbalah Satira, Moshe, Aaron, and this Canaan, Nadav Avihu, and this Canaan, they see Hashem, that he has a livnas hasapir in front of him, b'shas the Shibud. The question is, and Avada, that's a big sugya, that Hashem feels our pain, what we're going through things, the Rebbeinu Shalom, Shchinta begalusa, ima noichi b'tzara, big sugya. Why is that what they saw, b'shas Kabbalah Satira? Why is that what they saw? So during COVID, I found the Chayadim, I found Rabbeinu Bechaya writes that of all the Memches Kinyani Atar, the biggest one is Noisei B'Olam Chaverei, and B'Shas Kabbalah Satira, Hashem was being Noisei B'Olam. That's one of the Kinyani Atar. I want to say something different. The memches kinyani Torah, even it's the most important, the memches. The memches, my high b'shas Kabbalah Torah b'chil, Hashem was my high b'shas Kabbalah Torah. Hashem had a livness asapir. He was with our tzar. What's happening? So I want a title like this. I've said over every shul in the country this Shabbos, people speak. They're going to speak on Parshas Terumah. Maybe they should say a word from a different parsha. Every simcha this week's either mishpatim or Terumah. Mechatesi. It's a funny custom Klal Yisrael has. And the pshat is that when a person learns Torah, Hashem's talking to us, you can expect that Hashem's talking to your sugya. All of Klal Yisrael is learning a certain parsha, so Hashem's talking to us. Hashem's mamish talking to us. Hashem's talking in the Torah. So Klal Yisrael understands, if we're having a Sheva Brachas during the week of Mishpatim, so we understand, let's look in the parsha and see what Hashem's saying about the Simcha. Let's find Avada. Hashem's talking to us. Avada is talking to our things. All of Klal Yisrael's reading this. That's Pshat Rabbanim are quoting from the parsha. If something's going on, being threatened by Iran, okay, let's be Mavasedra. It's Pash Yitzvi. I asked my mishpacha to look over the parsha. My mishpacha, of course, you read the parsha and you see what's going on in your life. Hashem's talking to us. Pasha like that. When you're Mavasedra Kamen, it's like Sheach. Things that you're going through, you read about it, of course. Yidden always, even the Indian that a Yid looks at the parasha, the Yid's checking in on his life. He's mamish checking in, Hashem's talking to him. I like that it's the opposite of what somebody thinks. A guy comes to Torah and he has like so many worries, and then he learns, he's like, does the Rav even know me? Rabbi Russ sometimes says, I've heard Rabbi Russ, we've discussed this about guys. Sometimes people yell at a guy, you talk to a guy, you're yelling at this, and his sugya is a different sugya. A guy told me, mamish this week, he was crying. He said, my father's moneying me someday. I don't mind what he's money, he just doesn't know my life. What he's saying is remarkably disconnected to where I wish he was like on my page. Forget on my page in the same book as me. Forget in the same page as me. I'm here. He's like no shaykhs to what I'm at, to where I'm at, to what's going on. Guy was mamish crying this week like this. It's important by Torah. We had come to Kabbalah Torah from a shibud. And Eureka, when they saw Hashem b'shas Kabbalah Torah, the tsar and the journey we had come from, that was in front of Hashem, the livness asapir. And specifically in Limud Torah, Hashem's talking to our story. This is where you've come. You see, we saw Hashem. He was mamish coming from our story. We saw him b'shas Teshibah. That's what we saw b'shas Kabbalah Torah. In speaking us, the very same place we were coming from, Hashem was coming from. One can expect that in Limud Torah. It's passion. One can expect that in Limud Torah. When I was a youngster, my Rebbe's shiurim and shmuzim would like hit exactly what I was thinking about. And I thought like it was a ruach HaKodesh. And it could be there's such a thing. But now I understand it's like pashut like that. It's dvarim pshutim. Somebody goes to learn Torah by a Rebbe, one can expect it will mamish talk to his sugya. Hashem's talking to us. So of course it will talk to his sugya. One can expect that. That's the assumption. Perhaps that's. So I just liked your push. You should check in on the parsha and read all of Klal Yisrael's learning the parsha. Hashem's talking to us this every year. That's to then tune in and listen in and look at the parsha and read over the parsha. I've had many times, Yuditzvi, a remarkable amount of times. I learn nicely on planes. It's one of the only. I want to learn. If I saw more things as planes, it would be better for me. But I have an learn association on a plane. So I learned nicely on a plane. A guy was near me. He said, "You're such a master." I said, "Halavai, if I'd always be on a plane, maybe." But planes are geshmak. Not so much else to do. Lemaisa, it's uncanny going somewhere, and I think I'm going to speak about a certain topic. Then I'm learning Chumash, and Hashem tells me other things. Like you're watching, it's mamish klar. You're being spoken to. It's klar that's how Torah, learning Torah. Especially all of Klal Yisrael's reading the Parshas Torah. We call the Parshas Shovim that we just completed. All of Klal Yisrael was reading these Parshas, so then there's a Yetzias Mitzrayim happening. That's what Hashem's telling us, what's going on. So then we name those weeks, Shavim. They have to name those weeks, because that's what's going on. Hashem's telling us all this. Now, so it's Kedai. So I liked a lot Yudit Tzvi's appeal. I've been on an appeal the last couple of months, and I want to share it with my friends. Make big Rosh Chodesh Sudas. Rosh Chodesh, he said, make Mabes Sedra great again. I want to make Rosh Chodesh also, not a different Rosh Chodesh. I brought my wife the first time to Rebbetzin and Brim, and of course, Ki Yadua, the Nashim have a connection to Rosh Chodesh, but it's for Anashim and Nashim Rosh Chodesh. Zman Kapar L'chol Todos Rosh Chodesh is a big thing. I brought my mishpacha, my wife, to Rebbetzin and Brim, and the first thing she said, make sure that big Rosh Chodesh Sudas in the home. It's interesting, when I was a youngster, my brother was a masmid. He wasn't the type to go out much. He didn't eat out. Rosh Chodesh, we would go to Miros together. I don't say I understood Rosh Chodesh. I went out other times too. But my brother, I was there, and I could only get him to Miros. Today, if we would go out, it would be a lot fancier than Miros. Rosh Chodesh is a big thing. Miros is wonderful, but in Rosh Chodesh, we'd go a lot further than Miros. And it's interesting to be mechazik Rosh Chodesh. The Yevanim wanted to start up with Am Yisrael, mevatel 3 things. Shabbos, everybody would dress. Shabbos. That's our names. Am Mekadshe Shvi. We're Shabbos observers. That's who we are. That's the shidduch of a yid. Mila, everybody would guess that they started up with Bris Mila. The third thing is a chiddush nifla Rosh Chodesh. Chiddush Chodesh. You wouldn't put it in that like list of like mitzvahs to start up. Chiddush. Now we do, our whole count is different than the Goyim. The Ummahs, they count a year of the sun. We're busy, we count the moon year. We count a different year. We count the year by the moon. And there's a big inyan of Chiddush. Be mechadish, coming back, Nachamol. New Chadshos, new Madregas. A guy in Yeshiva asked me a question, such an honest question. A guy asked such an honest question. And I was taken aback. He said, I have ADHD, Rebbe. He said, ADHD, he said, I get tired of things fast. He said, what does marriage look like for an ADHD guy? He said to him, same person, decades, it is. Now his mistake is, and we make the mistake to ourselves and to others, we like lock in way too stark. I wanted in my own self, my inner voice, I used to say, Daniel, there you go again. I threw that out. Even when I want to give myself musr, it's never Daniel, you go again. There you go, Daniel. Oh. Because there's a certain voice that says, oh, like you're stuck there. Not stuck at all. But you think like you found yourself. I'm 51, I'm beginning to, your neshama, like the guy found the whole thing. The neshama is grace is huge. We find new things. Don't box in your wife either. Never. Don't box in your wife. Let her be new. See, if you're very shallow, you'll see her a certain thing, you'll box her in. Oh, okay, this is what, you don't know your wife, you're crazy. Guy thinks he knows as well. You have her neshama down, like, a neshama's like crazy. You don't know her, she doesn't know her. Let newness. See, don't always put it, we put things in boxes because it like predictability in some ways helps us. When guys come to yeshiva, I always try to compare him to a different guy, who he is. I just want to feel safe. You know, dogs scare me because I don't know what they're going to do. They're unpredictable to me. So okay, the guy is a 3-4, like I get his Enneagram number. I get the guy he resembles early in the yeshiva, sees him. But it's hogwash. So it's not an emes. Person's a new person. Good, so we need a little security. We need you think you know your spouse, you know yourself. Let room for newness. The sugya of Rosh Chodesh is a yid's always being mechadesh, always coming, ever fresh, ever being chazik, ever coming back. Haman said, Yeshna Yanecha. The Rebbe said from quoted Zayar that Yeshna is they're sleeping. Like they just there's not. Then all of a sudden, Klal Yisrael Mordechai Tzaddik comes in as mechazik. A yid has the koyach of the moon, chedush, new, fresh, another start, another ischazkos, a new chizuk. He's just when you thought this is him, where did this come from? An explosion of newness. I watch like all the Deer Show, Rice, all these campaigns and things, amazing. Shasi, so much newness. I'm just like encouraged by the newness of like the next initiative of our people. Just when you think you sized us up, this is what we are. Like we have a new initiative, a new chizuk, a new encouragement, a new thing that like flies through our people. We're like the Levana. We're not just flat and this is what you see. We're not like that. It's not who we are. I'm Zeich, I have this together at Katras. We see Bachram like grow and steig, but it's true in the entirety of our people. We're the moon people who are constantly being encouraged and renewed and ever starting again and being mechazik, and you think it's here and it explodes to something bigger. Haman's like convinced, that's it. They're not in unity. All of a sudden a new thing comes out. Where'd this come from? We're moon people. I want to suggest to the Chevra that we start making a bigger deal about Rosh Chodesh. I'm not just talking about for our families, for ourselves. I'm trying personally. It's interesting. In Yeshiva, I'll tell you honestly, in Yeshiva for Adar, so we didn't want to make like a big masiba. You're worried the Chevra would drink. We have our own government issues. We have to be careful. But I wanted Rosh Chodesh Masib. We did it in the morning. Now, you make a Masib in the morning. I knew it wouldn't be too lebedek. Chevra dance better at night. That's the way it is. Minus on Purim, everybody dances all day. We have a shtickle help, a siyua. But I know if you know how to make matzav at night, people are much more lebedek. So I knew it wouldn't be so lebedek, but I wanted a Masibah for me. I made it for a few people. The Chevra came, left. It was very nice, but we sat. A couple of Chevra sat. Rosh Chodesh is a big thing. And I want to be mechazik all of us to stretch. It's man kapara. Look at the tefillas. You get halal on Rosh Chodesh, a musaf on Rosh Chodesh. And I want to be mechazik for ourselves to make a bigger deal of Rosh Chodesh. Have a suda. Have a nice bemis. Have a nice steak dinner with the family. Go all out. Good music. B'shas the suda. So Rosh Chodesh suda. To be mechazik Rosh Chodesh, but the Inyan. But not just to have the day. Mamish to have the day. It's interesting when they wanted to attack us, Rabbi Yechiel. They wanted to attack us. They take away Rosh Chodesh. I wonder today, again, even when we're not attuned to it, I wonder today if any enemy would study our people, would say, okay, I'm taking Shabbos, they'd want to take away in Milah. I wonder if anybody would study us today. Now, of course, Rosh Chodesh is doing big things, but I'm not sure we're attuned enough that Rosh Chodesh is a big one. And to make a bigger deal of Rosh Chodesh, a big deal. And the Nakud of a new start, it's fresh, Rosh Chodesh, new beginning, mamish. Chidush, Asidim l'schadish k'maisa. So that's the first thing. I wanted to jump on the back of Yudah Tzvi's appeal for Shnaya Mikra. I wanted an appeal for Rosh Chodesh, to be mechazek, really to make sure chizik. By Chabad Hasidim, there's big sugyas of Rosh Chodesh. Sudas, of big sudas, by many tzaddikim. I can tell you, Rebbe Brim, the first thing she said to my wife, I don't remember if it was Rosh Chodesh when we saw her. It makes sense. Why was she being mechad? But maybe not. Maybe I don't think my wife. I'm not sure if we remember if it was Rosh Chodesh, but she told us big Rosh Chodesh sudas in the house. Big Rosh Chodesh. That it should be a big deal. So I wanted to remind my friends of this, be mechazik. It's a big thing to have Rosh Chodesh, to be a moon type of person, chizuk. Constantly being mechadish, a new aschala, a new opportunity, a new month, a new eschad sheshem asidim l'schadish k'maisa. So that's the first thing I wanted to share with the chevra. I'm very interested. I don't have a klar pshat, but I want to share the shemi. I wonder about the Nesiim. I'm very interested. The Chaim HaKadosh says that Yitz, the Avnei Shayam, in the list of the gifts, the 13 gifts to the Mishkan. So it says Tcheles, Argaman, Terumah, Shani, Sheish, Izim. All the way at the end of the list is the Avnei Shayam, Avnei Meluim. Now the Chaim HaKadosh is bad. Those are the most expensive. Shtup them at the end of the list. They belong first. They're the most chashuv gifts. Put them first in the count of, they're like shtupped at the end, they cost 600,000. Their Chaim HaKadosh says this is the most expensive. You describe the gifts that were given, you put them all the way at the end. It's funny, a funny zach to put them all the way at the end. The Or Chaim HaKadosh says that this reflects the Musar to the Nesiim, that they gave it last. And there was some taina on the Nesiim. I'm always interested exactly, Shemi, the taina. It's so pragmatic, the Nesiim. That's such a good cheshbon. I picture the Nesiim are the responsible ones, and what they did is so smart. They said, listen, we want to give to. Everybody wants to give to. All of Klal Yisrael, they had to hold back Klal Yisrael from giving. They pushed it. So everybody, they wanted to give to. It was like a very cheshbondik thing. The Nesiim said, listen, let Am Yisrael give. And what they don't give, we'll give. We'll push it. Let's see. Everybody's just giving randomly. We have things we need. We're building a Mishkan. There's kalim. There's requirements. Their cheshbon is so it's so practical and gishmak. They said, let everybody give what they give. No menachem, it's a good cheshbon. Let people donate, and whatever is not given, we'll give. Somehow they're punished for that. There's something. I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with that. It's a nice cheshbon. I'm sorry? That's a certain way. Klal Yisrael did fun. You see that Klal Yisrael didn't need anything. Like if you're trying to jump in and just give, it's a good cheshbon. They're very cheshbon. They're pragmatic. Klal Yisrael did just fine giving. There's a certain sense when it comes to Kodesh. It's not a cheshbon thing giving to Hashem. There's something about the Nedivas Halev, about excitement, given a crazy way. Don't be so normal. Don't be so cheshbon here. There's some ha'ara here. There's a big hadgasha of the leiv, and not to give in this manner. Like this manner, there was you're such a cheshbon, and the cheshbon, they should have just, the excitement is more important than the things. It's interesting. It's interesting to me. In every shul, there's not just every shul, in every idealism, there's the structure. Yisrael comes and sees Klal Yisrael, and our system is like pathetic. It's like, what do you guys? Because we wanted Moshe, so we weren't caring about it making too much sense. We're all waiting around Moshe and novel tibel gamatagam. Yeah, then there's always the practical guy who makes the sustainable and work. But there's a reason we weren't thinking about the sustainability. It's interesting that here, they were coming in such a practical, pragmatic way. And there's something to construction that's not about all the practical. It's just, I picture the rest of Klal Yisrael just jumping in. At Divas Halev, we're excited. We want to build. We want to construct. We want to help. It's like, well, we got to organize here. In a certain way, the excitement and the rush of excitement is what you needed as much as you needed the organization. I can see this in construction in our own lives and in many things we build. The excitement to the thing. I want to give this doesn't even do justice, this mashal. A little kid is trying to serve the soup Shabbos or trying to set the table Shabbos. And the kid sets it all wrong. I'm not coming, a Shabbos Suda should be gorgeous, set up perfectly. I'm not coming to that. It's easier on somebody else's thing. Only bringing out the point. The kid sets up and it's not so neat. The kid serves soup. There's usually a trail of soup along. It might not be the most organized thing or the perfect, but isn't it much bigger that the kid wants to serve and is getting involved? The Nedivas Halev is bigger than the Now there's something called organization. There's such a thing. But the heart of the matter, and somehow the Nesiim are criticized. You had a very cheshbon thing, and probably somebody has to be misader. First, just understand, let people just bring. It's funny, afterwards, they're trying to get the thing under control. I picture the scenes. The scene in Parshas Terumah is wonderful. People are giving, they're making announcements there's no people on earth this would be true. They're not struggling. They're have to not. Rabbi say Adkan, the piles of stuff are she'ing. There's heiser, daiva heiser. There's extras you can't imagine, and they have to ask everybody. Let's stop. Okay, and then there's the nace that everything ends up being needed exact. Because what's there is the nedivus, the generosity and the beauty, and each yid's donation is important. But yeah, I don't have a teretz. I'm struggling with what's wrong. There's some einish. There are things that Chaim HaKadosh writes that it's put last. It was a bad cheshbon. Maybe again. I'm not saying pshat. I really want. I'm thinking about it again this year. I don't know. I don't know to be. I tried, but I didn't see that I would be too excited. Because people are upset. Kalish, there is a room for organization. Good, you're a mess, but my friends are nice, and they didn't. But you feel what Olam's thinking? I'm bothered. I'm bothered. And I don't like a forced pshat. They said, Dovi, I don't know. I don't know. And there's deep things going on. What they said, so like sensible. So let's see what everybody gives, and then we'll fill in the. Maybe they underestimated Klal, so maybe that's the time. It doesn't sound. There's something too practical when it comes to like getting involved in Kodesh. Stop being so practical. Say practicality. And is there a place? It's funny. Even watch the system. People just brought tons. Then we're like, whoa, like we have to like make these announcements. Could somebody get the people? Because Klal Yisrael gets excited. We're fired up about something. Say that we have to contain it. We have to find the vessels to contain this thing. But there's an excitement. Maybe that should come first. I have a whole shaila in organizations. There's always the person, there's always the chiyus and the organizer. It's a big shaila. Who should be the one? Who should be the two? I always think that the one is the guy who's, when I say one, I'm not talking about guy, I'm talking about that the ikar of the thing is the idealism. Then you have to build systems. Yisrael comes next. You first have to have if you have the system minus and you try to shtup in, is there room for the idealism? First is the geschmack. The Nisim, there's some tiny here to start. Okay, let's do this What are we doing anything organized? Rabbi say, Mishkan, the Nisim are giving everybody just running, giving you shirt. The haschal of being so organized. Let's see what everybody. That maybe, but I don't know. I mamish don't know. What do you say, Rebbe? You like it? That's how I hear it. That the first meeting shouldn't have been okay. Let's do this organized. Let's not. Let's have everybody. Rabbi say Mishkan. People are just taking off shirts, giving their ties, throwing things in. The nashim are giving their mirrors. It's mamish Mishkan. Let's go. Nach them, let's figure out. Then we have to make it out. Rabbi say we have tons. We're overwhelmed. We're doing a little accounting here. Nach them, like the structure. Maybe they started too fast with the structure. I don't know. What's right, Russ? What's the sugya? Kalish like promoting chaos. Like there should be a good structure. Like should. The more organized amongst us are like squirming in their seats. Like, what's the picture? You want this thing? I had many pictures. It's how this would play out in a system. How this would if the structure's there, like dominating the idealism, then you build a structure around it. Here, like the aschal is, let's see what they bring. That's Mishkan. Let's go, and then nachdem we'll see how to get this on. I want to close that with something I've said many years, and I don't want to say what I said last year. I want to be more shaykh to it. We've asked many years. It says they had daiva haiser. There was enough and extra. Anybody learns the chumash. If there's enough, there's not extra. If there's extra, there's not enough. It's two different things. Dai means it was mamish and nes is exact. Explains the Chaim HaKadosh that be'emes there was extra. But it was a nace. What everybody gave was exact. If you did it in the eifin of teva, it was much more stuff. But everything was used and necessary. And I want to express that the purpose of the nace is the reality that every single yid's donations are necessary. That's the purpose of the nace. Is that we need kulam. We mamish need kulam. The sugya of Purim, the ikar sugya, Amalek's about disunity of Klal Yisrael. We don't need everybody. That's how Amalek is. The Gra says in Evan Shleima that Amalek's about period. And the sugya is leich kanais kol yudim. Haman says amechad mefuzah and mefur. They're separate. The ikar nikud of achdus is that we need all. There's no extras in our people. We need all. And Esther says leich kanais kol yudim. I love Shalach Manas. I love the look of our people. It's beautiful. Go to the streets for Shalach Manas. Everybody's running, gifting to each other. It's a massive. Yidden are just bringing. Everybody's celebrated, needed, from the little children to everybody in the mishpacha, giving gifts to one another. And the Nikud of Achdus Yisrael, the minhag, I appreciate a lot. And you get in danger when you, instead of like criticizing Klal Yisrael, observe our people. The mitzvah of Shalach Manas is gorgeous, how people grab on to the mitzvah. It's a mitzvah that's celebrated and done very serious. And then I love by the Kriyas HaMegil that everybody comes. Just observe our people. It's interesting. We have to make sure to be yaitza, make sure the kids are not banging at the wrong times, for sure. But it's interesting to observe. To me, it's pashut that the minig Yisrael that every the kids, I mean our inner children also, but the minig Yisrael that everybody comes. The minig Yisrael that everybody comes, to me, is klar lech k'nois kol yudim. That's the sherish. Haman, the Amalek wants us to say not everybody's necessary. Only some. Give me your best. They try to knock it on Achshalom Acharecha. And by Kriyas HaMegillah, when we fight Amalek, everybody comes to shul. But everybody. Everybody's there. Men, women, and children. And I want to express this daiva heiser, this amazing nace, a remarkable nace. There were gifts given by every yid, and yet when we construct in the Mishkan, it like came out exact. Everything should have been the wrong size. We should have had tons of stuff, but there would be a mashmais that, he was extra. We didn't need him. And it wasn't that way. The lave of every yid, he gave this thing in his way. It was mamish. It was like so perfect. It's lucky Pashat. After we were done, it's lucky everybody brought. You have to picture the scene. It's a beautiful scene. After we put everything together, there was like nothing left. There wasn't one thing left, Shloimeh. We put everything together. It's like, shoo! I pictured the guy who like only had a drip Daniel. He like brought this. Then at the end, there was nothing left. He's like, it's lucky I brought it. Now, really, wink, wink? There's no wink, wink. It's true. It's true. We mamish wouldn't have made it with them. We mamish. In the world of Ruchni, somebody asked me that it says dai v'haiser. Should say haiser v'dai. There was extra. First there was extra, and then dai. Why do you say dai v'haiser? According to the Sarchaim HaKadosh, first there's extra, then it's dai. The ikar nekud is that it's dai. It was exact. If you want to know the math, it was haiser. In a chitzonistic world, like if you would have done the computations, it looked like more. That's not the emes. The emes, it was dai. Every single thing was needed. That guy brought we couldn't have done the Mishkan without him. The nace is ma'ir or something. By the way, we couldn't have built the Mishkan without that guy's thing. Without his nadivs. It's funny, in the world of practical, you would never think like this. See, if you went in the sea, this is like a different world. And this is, the Nesiim know what I'm saying, but this is like the opposite. The Nesiim come, let's see what everybody gives. We'll give one. That's not how Mishkans are built. The Mishkan's built that every Yidden there was way extra, and there was nothing extra. I don't know if the Mishkan wouldn't have gone up if that guy didn't give his, because Yidden are needed. V'shachanti b'soicham is b'soich Klal Yisrael. When Klal Yisrael's zusammen, push out a Yid, there's no Hashras Hashchin is the entirety of our people. So it comes out, the nace is myrdik. It's so lucky. It's true. It's not just we tricked the guy. When the guy said, it's lucky I brought my little thing, so it's like jokes on him. We fooled him like that. Hashem's not fooling anybody, it's the emes. There was dai. That's the pshat. It says dai first. Doesn't say ha'isiv dai, because the emes is there was dai. It was perfect. So lucky he brought his thing. Now if you want to know, in our world of Teva, it was ha'isir. In that world, the pragmatic world of the Nesiim, there was extra stuff. Wow. Not in the emes, it was dying. In Lamana emes, if that guy wouldn't have brought his thing, wouldn't have worked. I think this Indian is an Indian of at a time of the year Adar, and now headed to Purim Adar, that Kol Yisrael, Lech Kenois Kol Yudim. We need each one of us, each one's Limudat Torah, each one's Tefillah, each one's Avodah that counts, that matters, is Dai. We can't do it without. We mamish can't. It won't work. So it's funny. I think in a shikhiistic way. I've seen Nar Chaim since I'm a kid. The younger me for sure saw it like a cute thing, like a Shem, like fooled the guy, make a youngster, like you were needed. Wink, 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 wink. The guy comes to the basketball game, and the team gives him like 30 seconds. So good you came. He's like a little slow. They push it like praying he doesn't show up to the game. A playoff game. Guys ask me, Rebbe, could you send him to eat out, please? He shouldn't come by the game. And the guy gets his 30 seconds, but you have to be nice. Oh, so thank you so much for coming. And you give him. So the ki'ilu the day is a nace, the Ena should feel. That's not how Ruchnius works. It was die. We wouldn't have worked with them. Because we're not talking about a physical, we're talking about Yidden's Nedevos. If you contrast this Daiva Heiser to the Nesiim's Cheshbon, good, there's a practical, they're being practical, whatever. That's not what's going on here. In the world of practical, like Taka, make sure. But in that world, by the way, in the Nesiim's world, I'm not coming to criticize Nesiim. I'm talking, Chazal say something to study it. So I'm trying. In the Nesiim's world, right, Balls, I wonder if the Nesiim would tell that we don't need it. In their world, we're trying to figure out, practical. They would tell you, we have enough. It's not how we're building this thing. It's not what's happening here. Yeah, is there practical arrangements to do? Later on, we'll figure that stuff out. And then the nisim. Die. But what happens is each yid's nedivus and excitement and passion. There's what to learn in our own structures of our homes, in our own ruchniistic structure, in our families, in our yeshivas, and our shuls. Sometimes a person's excited to contribute in a certain way, and you make cheshbainis. No, we don't. I've started to do tshuva. I like running things. I like certain songs, Shemi. I'm doing tshuva. Guys would say, Rebbe, could we sing? I would be mocked, but a guy would ask, Rebbe, could we sing Kol Baraman? I'm like, a guy wants to sing like a Tisha B'Av song on Friday night. Today, I often will sing with the guy. I can't say always. I'm more inclined. There's a bacher recently. The Friday night, he has to sing a song. Could we sing Achenu? Friday night, Achenu, Hanasuna Batzara. He was so sincere. Let's sing Achenu with him. Let's die. We'll figure out that also. We'll make Shabbos in there too. Even and I want to say from a guy who's afraid of these things. To me, I was certain, no. Maybe that's the head of the Nesiim. You're so organized, Pasha. Let's see what each one brings. No, we don't need that. We have enough of it. It's not how it works. He wants to sing Achenu. No, we haven't. So maybe let's sing Achenu together with him. He's bringing. There's an adivos here. He wants to be part. He's excited. There's yesh dvarim here in our own homes, in our own. I see it in my own private avodas Hashem. I see things like this. Certainly in a home, certainly in a yeshiva, certainly in a shul. Somebody's being mishtatif. This is their way. But we don't need that. He wants to be mishtatif. He wants to be mishtatif. This is his way of being mishtatif. Let's figure out. His lave is needed. There's another person. He wants to sing Achenu. Chaver, let's go. Achenu. Let's go. Let's add his Achenu. And it will be It will all fit in and everything will be needed. Have a great Shabbos.